Hello, my name is Alex, and I'd like to tell a little quick story about how Apple has converged and managed to update its downstream repositories and workflows to the new GitHub Monorepo. So about a year ago, Tom has sent out this email informing the community that everyone has 1 year to migrate to the new Monorepo and update our existing workflows to account for the migration. So after our initial confusion, we realized that we had a lot of work that needs to be done. And so we set out and started this conversion project by establishing two primary goals that we wanted to achieve. We wanted to convert our downstream repositories while preserving all the history and the contents, but we also wanted to take advantage of the disruption that was going to be caused and improve our workflows at the same time. So we created a set of tools that are open source, published on GitHub, and are available under the llvm-project license that we use to actually perform the Monorepo conversion for our downstream repositories. And this toolset also contains the tools that we now use daily to manage and actually improve our downstream workflows. So at first, I'd like to quickly dive into the details of our Monorepo conversion tools. But before I go into the details, I'd like to give you a little bit of context about our downstream landscape, so to speak. So our downstream landscape is more like a minefield. So we have 3 downstream levels, and it actually goes way deeper than that, but that's all I can show you. And each level had different forks of LVM and clang, and it was the regular kind of downstream workflow where each up level used git merge to merge downstream. So because we had to navigate this kind of tricky minefield, we had quite a lot of concerns when we were thinking about migration to the Monorepo. Main questions we had were, can we preserve the history for our existing branches and historical tags for our releases? And can the history be constructed in such a way whereby we can go back in history and possibly do bisection and check out old contents and build LVM and clang and LDB? The answer to all of these questions is definitely yes, but the catch is that we have to do the work ourselves. So we have to write the tools that actually construct the Monorepo history to account for all of the cases that we care about. So I don't really have time to go into all of the details about how the conversion works, but I'm going to illustrate it with just a simple example. So on the slide right now, I have 2 downstream repositories. One is an LVM repository, one is a clang repository, and they contain a Git history graph that has the downstream on the left-hand side, which is merged from upstream on the right-hand side. And so the Monorepo conversion tool basically takes both of these histories and merges them by interleaving the downstream commits. And it works quite well in practice, so we're fairly happy with that because it allowed us to achieve all the goals that we really set out to achieve. We're able to go back in history, bisect, check out full contents of the downstream Monorepo, and we managed to preserve the historical branches and the historical tags as well. And to finish up the talk, I'd like to briefly talk about other tools that we've developed to improve our workflows. The first main tool that we run daily on a daily basis is the automerger, which propagates the upstream changes into our downstream monorepos. And the nice thing about the new automerger that we have is that it allows us to build and test the upstream commits before merging them into our downstream repositories and branches, which allows us to keep fairly green, fairly buildable downstream branches. And another nice thing is that a lot of the state is in the repository itself. So for example, for the open source Swift project, open source contributors are able to see the state of the automerger and see the merge hierarchy as well. And we have a couple of other tools in this tool set. For example, we have tools to create list and test pull requests using custom Jenkins jobs or Swift CI. And that's all I have for today. And before I go, I'd like to thank Tom and the rest of the open source community for doing a lot of the hard work for actually creating the upstream Monorepo. Thank you.